I'm Justin Boyan, also on the steering committee, and I think today's agenda is going to be different from a lot of our previous meetings because we're going to be getting your input, getting your feedback, getting your energy, and really a community building exercise in a way that some of our previous meetings may not have been. But before we get into that, I'm just going to, well, if we can make this a little bit interactive, ask sort of how's it going so far? Question?
I have a problem with the proposal. I don't think maybe this group is too big to talk about that, but I have a problem with the word Trump there.
Okay, maybe this isn't, maybe actually we are going to be breaking into breakout groups and it would be interesting to hear that.
He's not the only one, so.
Okay. All right, so some people would rather not call it the Trump agenda, and it's absolutely deeper and broader than Trump. I think that's a point we all realize. So in terms of how the last year went, just briefly, Resist Hate came together. We did a lot of high energy demonstrating in the early days. How many of you were here for the travel ban protest rally? Brilliant. How many of you were calling senators to get them to oppose Trump nominees? Okay, almost everybody here. So we worked to stiffen the spines of our congressional delegation. I think we succeeded at that to a large degree. We also, a lot of us who are newer to this work than many of you, became aware of how conservative the leadership in our state legislature is, despite being Democratic. And we brought, Resist Hate and other activist groups in the state brought a lot of energy to the State House to advance progressive legislation. And does anybody want to contribute any thoughts on how we did with that? What passed last year? Earned sick days, paid sick leave. Yeah.
Domestic violence bill.
Domestic violence, disarming domestic abusers.
Worker co-ops.
Worker co-ops, making it easy to set up worker co-ops. Automatic voter registration. CSA passed in the Providence City Council, Community Safety Act. So I mean, that's a pretty stunning record for, again, a conservative leadership that essentially needed to be pushed to pass every one of those things. As well, there was the increase in the minimum wage, there was free community college, solar net metering was expanded to nonprofits and public institutions. So a lot of issues that a lot of progressive groups had worked on for years in some cases actually became possible this past year, and it was largely a result of the increased voter pressure that we mobilized and other groups mobilized in this new era of activism. So that's what we're hoping to keep up into 2018. It was a pretty great set of accomplishments. We know it's an election year, so there's going to be a chance to increase our capacity at the state level, and hopefully outside Rhode Island at the federal level we can increase our capacity to resist the GOP agenda as well. So
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it over to Bethany to start our user feedback agenda.